Hello, and welcome back to another video on this channel. Now, as you can see by the title, in this video we're predicting every single Premier League game in Game Week 1. The plan is to do this every single game week from now all the way to the end of the season. No better way to start off with the first game of the season. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and let's get straight into it. As I said, let me know your prediction in the comments. I want to see what you guys have to say. And again, thank you for the support. And don't forget, as I said, like and subscribe. And let's get straight into it. So to kick us off is Arsenal versus Coventry. Now, this is a game I'm really excited by. The opening game in the Premier League. I'm just excited to watch the Premier League football. You look at how Arsenal have recruited. They've done a very good job of bringing in players. You know, Gameweek, Zolis looks like a very good signing. On top of the squad that they already have. I think they're going to be a team that's going to be very hard to beat this season. If you look at Coventry, they're obviously a newly promoted team. Frank Lampard. Difficult away ground away at the Emirates. However, I think Arsenal will have enough, as I said. Gyökeres, Havertz, the way in which they dismantled City. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to go 4-0 Arsenal. I think at home, their defence is so good. You know, they've signed quite a few players. They've got a very good team. I'm going to go 4-0 to Arsenal. Now, game 2 on obviously Saturday is Hull City versus Manchester United. Obviously, Manchester United first game away from home. Hull City newly promoted side. Again, United go into the game obviously as favourites. Obviously, United have recruited decently. Baleba, Santos, Tielemans, Cardalo, potentially a few more players coming in. Obviously, we have our injuries. However, I think United will have enough to get the job done. As good as, you know, Hull City are, I think United in this game, they need to make a market. Like, you have to win this game if you're Manchester United. Start the season off right. I'm going to go for a narrow... Actually, I'm going to go 3-1 Manchester United. I think we will score goals. And Mbumo, Cunha, Bruno, potentially Marcus Rashford chipping in with some goals. But yeah, I'm convinced United are going to win this game. Now, Everton versus Crystal Palace is the first 3 p.m. game now. Everton, obviously under David Moyes, they've lost a few players. Grealish has gone back to Manchester City. They could potentially be losing NDI. They do have a decent team. I think if I look at how Everton play football, they're a decent Prem side. You look at Palace, lost their manager, lost quite a few players. I think this one's going to be a 1-1 draw. I think, you know, both teams will find their feet after the losses that they had. But you never know, Everton could potentially get the win, but I'm going to go 1-1. Ipswich Town versus Sunderland. Now again, the third promoted team versus Sunderland, who had a very, very good season last season. Obviously, the first game for Ipswich at home is an exciting game. You know, you look at Sunderland, they're a very good team. Brobby, Isidore, Lefay, Talby, obviously Xhaka in the midfield, you know, is a big season for them. See where they can kind of get in the Premier League with that European football. I think it's definitely going to be exciting to see how they get on. Sunderland, Ipswich, I'll go 3-1 Sunderland. I think Sunderland, very good side last season. Nottingham Forest versus Leeds. Now again, Forest, new manager, Oliver Glasner. They've done quite well in pre-season. He's a very, very good manager, and I won't be surprised if he does well with this team. I think if you look at how Forest play, the way in which, you know, getting the wing-backs involved, scoring goals. I think he's been playing with a front two of Igor Jesus and Chris Wood, which again is something that he obviously didn't do at Crystal Palace. There's a lot of good players. Yes, they've lost Elliot Anderson, but again, you know, Gibbs White, Chris Wood, Nico Williams, Ola Aina. I think they've got a very good team. You look at Leeds, I think Harry Wilson's a good signing. You look at Calvert-Lewin, can he chip in with some goals? I probably roll back Nottingham Forest in this game. I'm going to go 2-1 at Nottingham Forest. Brentford versus Tottenham. Now, this is the one, you know, 5:30 Saturday. Sky Sports, I'll be tuning in for this one. Going to be a really good game. I think Brentford, you know, very good at home last season. You know, Igor Thiago's a good player. You know, I don't know how well they've recruited. I know they bought Callum Wilson, that striker, but they already have a very good foundation. They've got good attackers, very technically good midfielders, and obviously solid defenders. Obviously, they've lost a key part of that midfield in Henderson, or experience-wise. However, at home, their record's insane. You look at Tottenham Hotspur, the way in which recruited. I know attacking-wise, they're not really that great in terms of, you know, not having players available. They've got Solanke, Tell, and I don't think Kudus and Kulusevski are fit. They're as good as Tottenham have recruited, you know, Van Hecke, Robertson, Senesi. You know, they've got rid of Jed Spence. I still think they'll be a decent team. I'm still going to back them. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw in this game, 2-2 between Brentford and Spurs. I just don't know why. I think Spurs will get some goals. I know their attack's not great. Now we're on to Sunday. Brighton versus Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa, first and foremost, they are, I think, going to struggle this season. They've lost Konza, they've lost Emi Martinez, they've lost Digne, they've lost Tielemans, they've lost Morgan Rogers. They could potentially be losing Ollie Watkins as well. I think they bought in Manzambi and Garnacho. I think they're the only 2 players they bought in. You know where Villa were last season, winning the Europa League, getting obviously into that Champions League, and they did well in the Premier League. But with the squad that they have now, I think they are going to struggle, to score some goals. Brighton, on the other hand, I think they bought Pascal Strauchin. They've got a few other players. They haven't lost too many players, obviously Welbeck and Van Heck being the main 2. I think they need a striker, but I'm just going to back Brighton to get the 2-1 win. He obviously will learn more about the teams as the season does progress. Manchester City versus Bournemouth. Now again, this is a really big game. I think if we're looking at Manchester City, the only thing we have of Manchester City is that Community Shield game, which obviously we did the match reaction for. They were horrific in this game. Now they're at home. It's Maresca's first Premier League game in charge. Obviously at the Etihad Stadium. I just don't know how poor they were. Bournemouth, again, new manager, lost a few players as well. But surely City don't lose this game. There was no chemistry there. There was no cohesion in that City team. They looked lost. They looked like they didn't have that fight. Usually they had Pep Guardiola to turn to. This one was like, they kind of ran out of ideas. Like Kovacic, their midfield is a huge problem. I didn't know how thin they were. They've sold Rodri. They've sold Bernardo Silva. They've sold Reinders. They've only really got Kovacic and Elliot Anderson. There's no one else really in this, so they need to recruit some midfielders. If I look at Bournemouth, haven't watched them, I can't lie, in pre-season. I've heard things about them. I think they beat a team 10-1. They've got good players. I'm sure they're going to do well in this game, and I'm sure they'll probably do well this season. But I'm still going to back City at home. I'll probably go 2-0 Manchester City. Newcastle versus Liverpool, the Isak derby is what we're going to call it. For Newcastle, it's a big season. Self-explanatory, really. They've lost a lot of players, haven't recruited that many. New manager coming in, very well could lose a few more players as the window progresses. At home, it's going to be a rocking atmosphere. Liverpool turning up, first game in Andoni Iraola. Really tough game, I think. I think this is a good game. Newcastle, Liverpool, there is always some big moments in the game. And you look at how Liverpool, who would you say is the favourite? You probably would have to say Liverpool. They've bought in a few good players, Araujo, Xhaka, more defensive side. I don't think they really needed, and I think they just need the Salah replacement in the attack. Obviously, a Gakpo goes. It's a big season for Wirtz, Ngamoa, Isak in particular. In terms of this game, I think there'll be goals in this game. I'm gonna go 3-0. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm gonna go 3-0. And the last game, Fulham versus Chelsea. Craven Cottage, Arbeloa's first game, Xabi Alonso's first game. Obviously, 2 managers I think know each other quite well. Fulham made some good signings. I don't know how they're going to be under Arbeloa. I'm going to watch that game and we can see. Chelsea under Xabi Alonso, again, the system, the players. I think this one obviously is a London derby as well. I'm gonna go 2-1 Chelsea. Now they have been all my predictions. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. In terms of reactions for this week, so Arsenal Coventry, there'll be a reaction to going out on the channel tomorrow evening after the game. Then we'll obviously have Brentford versus Tottenham on this channel. We'll have Man City, Bournemouth, and we'll have Newcastle, Liverpool reactions because I'll be watching those games. And on Monday, Fulham versus Chelsea, also going to do a reaction to that. So stay tuned for all the content coming out across the next couple of days and throughout the whole Premier League season. But that has been my Premier League Game Week 1 predictions. Let me know if you agree, disagree, your opinions, your predictions, all those things in the comments, and we'll debate it in the chat. But let me know a few things. Who's going to score? Who's going to be the man of the match? Or the player of the week, sorry. Who's going to be, your standout player, your flop of the season? Just let me know some of your predictions in the chat. And as I said, don't forget, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. If you have stayed tuned all the way to the end, you're an absolute legend. But yeah, let me know your hot takes, all of these sort of things. They've been my Game Week 1 predictions. Let me know if you agree, disagree in the chat. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.